Hi, and welcome to the Billionaire Journey podcast. Once again, happy new year, and I hope you're enjoying your year already. So, if you haven't set up your goals or if you haven't had a plan for this year, I want you to go do that. It's very, very important. If you listen to our yesterday's episode of the Billionaire Journey podcast, you'll realize how important this is. Anyway, today we want to talk about being your authentic self. All right. So, we're going to talk about the importance of being your authentic self and how to start living a more authentic life. And before we begin, I would like us to define what it actually means to be authentic. You see, being authentic means being true to oneself, being genuine and real, living in alignment with your values and beliefs. These are very important words. Being authentic means being true to oneself. You have to be true to yourself. You have to be genuine and real and living in alignment with your values and beliefs. You see, it means not pretending to be someone you're not. In this world where a lot of people are pretending to be someone else, are modeling their lives after social media platforms, after influencers, and what have you, it is important that we become authentic, that we live an authentic life. And we're going to see the importance of all of this very soon. But we're just trying to understand what it actually means to live an authentic life. So, it means not hiding your truth, thoughts, feelings, and opinions, like your true thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Now, why is it even important to be authentic? Well, you see, living an authentic life can lead to greater happiness and fulfillment. So, if you want to live a more happy life and a fulfilled life, then you have to be authentic. When we are true to ourselves, we're able to live in a way that aligns with our values and passions. This can bring a sense of purpose and meaning to our lives. You see, not just that, being authentic allows us to build stronger, more authentic relationships with others, as we are all able to be open and honest with them. Right? So it's very important actually to live an authentic life in your workplace, in your relationship with people, in whatever country you eventually find yourself. Don't just try to fit in, but be authentic. So how can we start living a more authentic life? Now I'm going to share with you a few tips of how you can live or lead an authentic life. The first thing is get to know yourself. You gotta take some time to reflect on your values. What are the things that you believe in? I mean, your beliefs. What are your passions? If it's very important, if possible, you could pause this podcast right now, take a pen and take a notepad and write out what are your values. What are the values that you believe, that you stand with? What are the things that you believe? Values could be like honesty, or loving, friendly, and so on and so forth. So what are your values? What are the things that you believe? And what are your passion? To be honest with you, for some people, till the point where they will end in this world, they've never had the time to actually reflect on this. And if you don't know yourself, you are harming yourself. So what are the things that are most important to you? What makes you unique? Someone like me, I'm an African from Nigeria. That alone is something that actually makes me unique. But that is not all. I have to look deeper. What are the things? Because not all Africans, not all Nigerians actually believe the same thing, right? There are things that I believe that other people might not believe. So we got to look at all of these things, get to know ourselves, and this way we can live a more authentic life. The second way to live a more authentic life is to practice honesty and transparency. Be open and honest with others, and don't be afraid to share your thoughts and feelings. You see, I remember at the time I was in a relationship with a particular girl, and at the time I just realized that this relationship was leading nowhere. I mean, this I felt like this lady wasn't proud of me, but I never told her. And do you know what? At the end of the day, it happened. The lady broke up with me. I I broke down. My heart was broken. I even cried just because I wasn't authentic in that relation. I mean, I was just afraid to lose her and I didn't even let her know, right? I was afraid to voice out my thoughts and feelings. Maybe if I'd done that, it could have ended differently, but I was afraid. So if you want to live a more authentic life, you have to practice honesty and transparency. Like you have to voice your feelings without being afraid. Remember, it's okay to be vulnerable and to admit when you don't have all the answers. This is another way of being authentic, of being honest, of being transparent. Now, the third way or the third tip I'm going to give you is to stand up for what you believe. My dear friend, don't compromise. Don't compromise your values or beliefs for the sake of fitting in or pleasing others. Just like the story I just told you, right? Now, I recently moved to the UK. I'm a Nigerian. And in Nigeria, for instance, one of the common things that happens, uh, in as a Yoruba person, that's a tribe in Nigeria. As a Yoruba person, is that every Friday, usually you will see a typical Yoruba person wearing what we call a native attire. And so when I came to the UK, I brought in some natives, and I put on this native most Fridays. And I didn't care about what people would say. Some people were like, oh, what? In fact, I met a particular guy at my place of work who asked me, he said, because he saw me wear a white native attire. And this guy said, he asked if I was a doctor. And I told him, no, this is just, this is a kind of a dress that we wear in Nigeria and all of that. And I told him about it. He was interested, and I was happy to, kind of explain to him what it means. But what I'm trying to say is this: don't compromise your values or beliefs for the sake of fitting in or pleasing others. Don't say because I'm in a new culture now, I have to behave like them. It's not a must. It's not a must, right? So the fourth thing is embrace your imperfections. This is actually very important. We all have flaws and imperfections, and that's okay. Yes, you heard me right. It's okay to have imperfections and flaws. Nobody is perfect. So you got to embrace your quirks and imperfections as they make you who you are. So at the time, somebody was being asked, I had listened to a podcast, right? I think the podcast was the CEO of the Diary of a CEO, and it's a podcast that I think you will love if you go listen to it. Just search for the Diary of a CEO. And one of the guys that was being interviewed, he went through a lot. He went to prison without any cause, and was in the prison for some years, and then he came out. He was, he was emotionally jeopardized and so on and so forth. But now he's become someone who is helping other people in prison, telling their story. I think he also works with BBC. And the host of the podcast, I think it was his name is Steven, right? His name is Steven. He said, if you were to go back behind, will you want you this all of your story to be erased and then maybe start again? And they said no, because all of those things that happened to me makes me who I am today. And it's true. So you've got to embrace your imperfections because they make you who you are. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't improve on yourself. Maybe if the things that maybe your weakness or so on and so forth, it's not what I mean. You can improve yourself. So, but embrace your imperfections because that is actually what makes us who we are. And the last but not the least is surround yourself with supportive people. You've got to surround yourself with people who support and encourage you to be your authentic self. One of the ways by which you can surround yourself with supportive people is to be with people who love you, people who value you, people who encourage you to do what you love, people who support you all the way, right? And that is why in this podcast, we're all about supporting you to become your authentic self. Not just making money, not just, being not just making money and starting a business and all of that. We want you to be your authentic self. Now, to be honest with you, being your authentic self is a journey, and it may not always be easy. But by taking the time to get to know yourself and living in alignment with your values and beliefs, you can start living a more authentic and fulfilling life. I just want to say thank you very much for listening to the Billionaire Journey podcast today. And until next time, please keep being true to yourself. My name is Sola Mathew. I'm the host of the Billionaire Journey podcast. And please remember to leave a review on our podcast so that other people can actually be encouraged to listen. Thank you very much and have a beautiful year once again. Bye.